Okay, so to make this page, you're going to need 9 circles, and this is the page that we're actually making, so you can see it over here. You're going to need 9 circles of paper, and it can be any paper that coordinates colors. You can do all the same colors, but I did 9 circles from the National Scrapbook Day leftovers that I had after making all my pages. And then I did these 2, they're almost like 1/8 of an inch strip out of cardstock. It can be out of any paper. I just did it out of cardstock. Now, first what I did was I cut these 2 papers in half at 6 inches. And when I do that, a lot of times, because I'm cutting them at the exact same spot, I just stack them up and cut them at 6 inches on top of each other, and I have them both cut. But for just to show you what I'm measuring and whatnot, I open up my trimmer. I open up that big arm, put it in at, I'm just going to turn it this way so you can see it a little better. Put it at the 6-inch mark, and then just slice it down. So now I have 2 halves. I only need 1 half for this page. And I do the same thing for the other half. Put it at the 6-inch mark and slice it. Now there's one other thing you're going to need for this page is about a 1-inch strip. We'll make it 2-inch strip just to secure it, of cardstock. So it could be any color. I'm going to do this blue because I have it left over. This is going to go on the back. Nobody's going to see it, so it doesn't matter how perfect it is. It could be a scrap from anything. If you have a 2-inch, an inch or 2-inch strip lying around, it could be ragged. You can see my edge is a little ragged. It doesn't matter. It's going on the back of the page to hold it together as we weld the page together. So on my cutting mat, I am going to do one side this pretty blue, and then the other side this white. So I would do one on the bottom and one on the top. But to weld it together, I'm going to flip them over because I want the welding on the back. And you can see on my sample here, I've welded them together and just used a piece of white paper in the back to weld them together. So what I'm going to do is flip these over, and I put it down on my mat right on that 12-inch line, right across the top. And then I put it, the other 6-inch piece, flip over and put it on the 12-inch line on the bottom of my mat. Just make sure they line up on the sides. You want to make sure that they're all lined up and ready to go. So it's perfectly level on the bottom. It's perfectly level on the top. I'm going to take that 2-inch scrap of paper and I'm just going to put tape across it like so. And when I lay that down on top of these 2 pieces of paper, making sure that they stay lined up with my mat, that 6-inch mark, that's going to tape them together and weld them so that now they're welded together. And when I flip it over, I have my page that I just created by welding the 2 pieces together. Rather than taping one sheet on top of half of this other sheet, I'm now saving that 6 inches of paper that I didn't need to just cover by welding it together. And we all have those scraps of paper lying around. You can lift up your edge on the end and just make sure tape is under both edges, so it's not going to come apart. Just gonna trim it. I think there was a little crooked on my welding piece. Okay. So now I have my two pieces together. When you weld it, I welded it together on the back on that piece of scrap paper, but I'm also going to take a border strip, and I had cut out one of the citrus slice borders on both sides so that I have this nice round wheel looking border for my page. Just going to put some repositional tape on both sides. And this, by having a border on the front of this page, it's also helping hold it together. So you're kind of welding it on both the front and the back. And I just put my border along the two lines where the paper meets. And again, that's going to kind of hold it together on the front, and it's being held together on the back. So I have a much sturdier paper now for my page. Now, to create the banner here, I use circles from my Circle Punch, and I did a whole bunch, like I said, from the National Scrapbook Day line. I used 9 on my original page. That's about how many look great with this size circle. Depending on your circles, if they're smaller or bigger, they may look different. So those 2 strips, this is strips of the cardstock in about, I don't know if it's an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch wide. That's actually going to serve as the string behind your circles. So all of your circles, you're going to fold in half. Just fold them in half so that they're ready to go on your banner. So each circle is folded. And I tried for my layout, I tried to do 2 of each color. So I have 2 of the dark lemon paper, 2 of the stripe, 2 of the yellow, 2 of the blue. So all my circles are now folded in half. And then what I'm going to do is on the first string, and I'm going to call it string, it's really just the piece of skinny paper. I'm going to wrap these circles. I'm going to put 4 circles in a row. We'll do a blue one, and we'll do one of these lemon ones. So I have 4 in a row. I just kind of line them up. I put my string in between those folds. So they're all lined up in between those folds. And then I take tape and I put a piece of tape in between each of those folds. So it's now folded and taped over that string. So the next one, I just kind of put some tape on it, fold it over to fold it and stick it shut. Oh, I taped the string on there. So the next one, I just put some tape on the inside, put it around that piece of skinny paper. And then the next one, anybody have questions yet? And then just fold this over. So this is making my banner of circles. And then what I do is kind of bend the string. I'm calling it string. It's just really a piece of skinny cardstock, but you're just going to bend it a little bit and give it a little crease so that it's bent and there, because those pieces are going to move until we tape them in place. And we're taping these circles, not that string piece. So see how I kind of have it, the first one is going across diagonally on the edge of my paper. Now for the one on this one, I kind of want it to go this way across the edge of my paper. So I just line it up where I want it to be, and then just lift one of those circles and put tape underneath to hold it in place. And that'll get it to look like exactly where you want it to be laid out. It turned a little bit too much. There we go. See how my circles are just kind of going looped across the corner of the page. And don't worry about the long strings, we'll get to them later. I don't want to cut it because it's still kind of loose in there, so it may come undone. What I'm going to do is put some repositional tape behind it and then fold it to the back of the page. But now I want to do the same thing with my next strand, and I want to just kind of put in place my layout of circles. And we'll do this one. So I'm going to put my string, I'm going to put some tape down. I'm going to put this piece of skinny cardstock, say that 10 times fast. And I'm just going to put my circles around that cardstock and taped shut. So it's giving me my banner. Okay. And then what I'm going to do again is I'm just going to kind of bend the cardstock in between each piece so that it gives it that curve. And then I'm just going to tape it down. And you might be able to get even another circle on your banner if you want. Just move them over a little bit if you want to get one more on there. Oh, I just pulled it apart. Not good, but that's all right. I'm just going to push this through. So you see the string. So then it's really about just taping down the circles in the right spot to look like a banner across your page, like so. So then I'm just going to add some tape behind. Super cute page. And then, like I said, what I'm going to do is flip this over, and I am going to put some repositional tape on these long pieces. They don't have to be quite so long, but that'll just hold them in place and keep my circles, if they should undo a little bit. I want them adhered to the back to kind of hold it in place. So I'm just going to flip that backward, fold it backward so it's sticking to the back of my paper. Just fold it over. And that keeps that skinny piece of cardstock from falling out or sliding out of your page. Once you have your protector on, it's not going to slide anywhere, but if you're not putting pictures on it right away and you're going to store it, you don't want it sliding out and having to re-thread it through. Okay, let's get this out. So now if I flip over my page, it should be all set, and I just need a really cute embellishment, which I have this really cute one, and I love my foam squares. So I'm just going to put them on the back. There we go. Let's get one little one in the middle. And just take the edges of the foam square peels off. My desk has a million of these foam square backings all over under the desk. So I'm gonna put this right here. And how cute is that?
Here's my page. Well done.
All right, give me 1 second.